Hello guys, Belle here, going to talk to you guys about nether shards. We're going to be talking about what they are, what you do with them, and how you get them. Nether shards are basically the currency for patch 7.2. Now at Deliverance Point, there's going to be two vendors that are of specific note for the nether shards. The first vendor is going to be the Legion Fall Rep vendor. Now, the Legion Fall Rep vendor, you'll be able to buy different things according to the reputation that you've gained, the same as with all the other reputation vendors throughout Legion. Now, the second vendor offers slot-specific relinquish tokens, which is gear, and although the item level of that's not really known because I don't know that it has a base item level, Blizzard just says that it's higher than the Dauntless gear, which is the 850, and that it can also randomly Titanforge, Warforge and Titanforge, as well as drop a legendary for that slot as well. So those are going to be the two most important vendors to note for using your nether shards. Now let's talk about how to farm these. The shards are going to drop from mobs all over Broken Shore, pretty similar to previously with the Apexis crystals. Now you can farm the elites and the rares around Broken Shore to drop these a little bit higher in amount as well. Now the best, most effective way to be able to farm these nether shards is going to be utilizing the Sentinel. Now the Sentinel is basically a ship. Now this ship is the Legion command ship, and its basic function outside of farming for nether shards is just to wreak havoc and mayhem all over Broken Shore. When you're underneath the ship, it does pew pew you and other really nasty things, so don't ever AFK underneath one of these ships because it's a bad idea. I did it yesterday. It was just a bad idea. Now basically you want to farm these mobs under and around the ship because although they drop nether shards, they also drop beacons, which we're going to talk about beacons in a second. Now you know you're in range of a ship when you have a buff. Now that buff is called the Shadow of the Sentinel, and that buff will let you know that you are in range to be able to get these beacons, which will be used for farming larger amounts of nether shards as well as other beacons. Now the ship will move around the map throughout the day, and I think Wowhead stated that it's about every 3-ish hours or so, so that way you know it's going to be moving. Now the best thing for this is going to be the same way we did it for the Apexis crystals, is you're going to want to get into a group with your guild or friends, or you're going to want to utilize the pre-made group finder and join a farming group to be able to get to farm underneath the Sentinels. Now, let's talk about the beacons and what they're used for. The first kind of most important beacon, because this will kind of lead you to bigger and better things, is going to be these beacons that spawn for portals under the ship. Now, it'll usually spawn like 3 portals, and I would just have a couple party members or group members go to each portal and make sure you tag it. The reason you want to do that is because these mobs are not cross-faction shared. So if you're Alliance and you have Hordes there, you're going to be fighting when these stuff spawns. Now, they do farm a little bit harder mobs, some elites and stuff like that, and they drop some other beacons, which is going to be kind of the name of the game here. Now, some of these beacons that they drop, they're epic, and these beacons will allow for you to spawn a lieutenant, basically. And that lieutenant ideally comes from the Sentinel ship. Comes down, it does require quite a few people. Maybe only a couple people, depending on what class you are, if you're the slightly overpowered DK or the Demon Hunter. And you'll want to make sure they have quite a bit of health, so you'll want to have some help with that. Now, these guys drop a couple hundred nether shards. They can also drop other beacons. Obviously, the higher, the more difficulty of the mob, the better reward that you might get in these beacons. But the most fun one, in my opinion, is going to be the profession beacons, because this allows you to farm nether shards and to do your profession stuff at the same time. There's going to be 3 profession beacons that you can pick up. These 3 will use the ship's firing ability to either spawn Blood of Sargeras, to unearth Fell Slate, and to rapidly grow Starlight Rose around the Sentinel ship, which is pretty nice that you can combine those two. Now, something that's important to note when doing this, the Sentinels will need a recharge after some time and will not allow you to spawn any portals even when you have the portal spawning beacon. I'm not 100% sure on the retime, but I use this time to go and do world quests for the Paragon to be able to pump additional rep into that Paragon rep. So make sure that you guys just kind of use your time wisely. Now, there's another beacon that I forgot to mention. I want to make sure I mention it, that will extend the time that the portals are out. So if you, let's say your friend spawns a portal, you can use the beacon that you can pick up that will extend the time the portal's out. I'm not 100% sure how long the portals are out. I know that it's just like a minute or two. They're not out very long. Which is why it's important to tag those mobs so that you can be able to loot them and be able to get the nether shards. So there you guys have it. If you have any questions, make sure you comment on the video. If anybody happens to know the actual timer for how long the portals are open, I did try to find it to no avail. I did look yesterday. I wanted it before I did the video, but I had to do the video without it because it's going to be old news tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.